Someone, So that's good. All right. I am ready when you are.
I am ready.
Cool. Why are you dropping so many frames? Why are you doing this to me? Alright, whatever. Let's go.
Oh no.
Hello there. And we're here.
Hey.
Hi. Welcome to
Hi.
another night of indie TTRPGs, tabletop role playing games. Don't know why I had to explain that to y'all. You should know that by now.
And if you don't, what the fuck are you doing here?
Off the bat, just slamming those F words just straight through. This
If
show
any
isn't for
minors are
kids.
watching, I'm so sorry. I haven't been around a small child in years. I don't remember how to filter my language.
That's okay. We'll figure it out.
Oh no, I was just around my little step-niece
You were.
on Wednesday. She's one, she walks now. She loves my dad's dog. Her first word was the dog's name.
That's amazing. That dog is so cute too, so makes sense. All right. So our first game, or the game that we'll be playing tonight, is called The Land Whispers. It's a fun little game, as I pull up who made it, by a wonderful artist by the name of Jessica Osborne. You can find her at Little Cup of Joe on Twitter, on itch.io, and lots of other places, I'm sure. This game is called Land Whispers, and it's all about making a little homestead and making a little life for yourself out in the woods and uncovering secrets about the place where you live and secrets about yourselves and the people that you're living with and creating this place with. So
it's a game for 1 to 4 players, so you can play it yourself, like alone via journaling. But we're playing it with the 2 of us
together. It's just as we're together. Just played it together. I don't know what that was. I don't know what kind of bit that was, but yeah.
I thought you were referencing something.
Absolutely not. Me reference things?
Oh, okay.
I'm wearing a nice pair of overalls because I'm gonna go out and do some yard farming and stuff like that. If that makes sense.
Cute. I'm wearing my pajamas. It's okay. They can only see me from like the neck up.
And they're down. My setup is a little bit different. I have to clean every single time. Every single time we stream, I have to go and clean off this area of the counter. Right here, right where the camera cuts, you don't want to know what that looks like. It's a mess. It's a mess. But back to the game. So the game is split into kind of three sections. First section being introductions and discoveries. Second being changing times, and the other is the future / your epilogue. The introductions.
Love me a good epilogue.
Love me a good epilogue. Introductions and discoveries is exactly what it sounds like. We will introduce our characters to each other and start creating our little world that we're going to be living in. The way the game works is you technically don't have to roleplay as characters. You can just pretend or just be yourselves or just play out how like random people's lives go as they do this. But me being me, I love to roleplay, so I suggested we try doing this roleplay wise. So
maybe I'll just play Joe again.
Just keep playing Joe over and over again until everyone just loves her so much. It's just a fan favorite. And people are like, please,
Yeah.
could you please stop playing Joe? And you're like, no, absolutely not.
Well, Joe and Chloe are like my two, oh, I don't have a character for this. I guess I'll just play one of these two. Anyway.
That makes sense. Okay.
Ironically, their names rhyme.
That is true. I did just also make
Sorry,
a character.
I'm messing with my hair. I didn't brush it.
This has become. Why don't you get a brush and
I'm
we'll
gonna
just
wing it, and whatever happens, happens.
That's true. Let's try it. See how it goes. Okay, so we will decide the order in which we will take our turns by whatever means we like. Do you want to go first or should I go first?
You go first.
Cool.
I think I went first last time.
I'm pretty sure you did. Yes. All right.
When we played All Kids.
That's right. Oh, that was such a good game. Gotta play that again.
So cute.
Okay.
You didn't warn me that there was a child watching, and so I swore as I usually do, and then you told me after the stream ended, hey, Vico! There's a child watching.
All right, way to put me on blast on stream, but I didn't know what I didn't want to be like, hey, hey, stop the stream, hey, stop the show, but I didn't know how to do. I didn't know what to do, but I
shot me a surreptitious text.
Okay, I don't look at my phone when I'm streaming because I'm a good streamer. I'm a good streamer. I don't look at my phone. I'm freaking one of those annoying kids in school who like gives you crap for
why you
being
always
your
on that damn phone?
Yeah, why you always, it's because you on that damn phone. Okay, anyway, we take our turns and we and we will each introduce our characters by our name, pronouns, and a brief description of our most notable feature. All right, here's Avery's skill at coming up with names on the fly. No, that's it. Danny. I'm gonna go with Danny. Dani. Danny. She, her pronouns, as always. I should write this down. Her most notable feature is probably her really, oh gosh, she has a very vibrant hair to a point of it's almost like Ramona Flowers style where like it changes so often kind of thing, but she doesn't. This isn't Scott Pilgrim, so it's not Ramona Flowers, but she has and I would even argue that she has like at least two colors in her hair at any given time. So that's her notable feature.
All right. I'm not gonna come up with a new character. I'm just gonna reach back into my D&D repertoire and pull out Sage.
I'm
gonna play Sage.
Love it.
Who we haven't seen in like years.
Yeah.
What pronouns did I use?
What did? Yeah, that was just
Fleur self.
Fleur self. Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Fleur was a half Dryad.
Right.
And always has a lute. I think it was a lute.
Okay.
Always equipped with a small stringed musical instrument of some sort.
That's your notable feature. Okay. Okay. Next, going your turn. Ask a single question of any other player. So you. Hmm.
Oh.
Okay. Sage. What made you leave town? Leave to come here?
Um. Hi, Sage. Um. I'd like to say that I felt the call to nature, but actually, my investigative reporting stirred up a bit of trouble, and I had to skip town.
You had to skip town. Okay. Okay. Now you ask me a question.
All right, Danny, what
Yeah.
brought you out here?
The simple answer is probably family. You know, you have parents that are kind of, and you got siblings that are kind of, and aunts and uncles that are really, and they've all just been hounding you for like years now about like settling down and what are you doing with your life and put that knife down, all that kind of stuff. And it's at some point it just gets too much, so I just saw an ad
What
in the
was
paper.
that? What was that middle part?
Um, settling down.
No, a little bit after that.
Skipping town.
For that,
Oh, the knife thing. The knife thing,
the
yeah.
knife thing.
I'm sorry, you could only ask one question.
Oh,
You'll have to figure that out for yourself.
oh boy, I've forgotten Sage's voice.
It was
It was like
very, it was very, it was,
low budget
it
taco.
was very low budget taco. If you've ever consumed the Adventure Zone, of Adventure Zone's fame, taco.
Oh, am I lagging, sound wise?
I'm not sure.
Racius mentioned that I sound a bit Decepticon-y.
I mean, on my end, maybe not, but it could be. Hmm.
Let me.
Because you sound fine, in my ears. So it's probably if it's anything, it's probably the translation from the desktop audio to the stream. So, and that's not something I think I can fix. So sorry,
Unfortunate.
sorry. It's just not laggy. It's just a bit distorted through Twitch at least. Okay.
I'm gonna just embrace it.
Okay. You're a robot sage now.
I'm Robot Sage.
Oh, okay. Hopefully that'll get better. We'll see.
I've always wanted to be a robot.
Okay. So once everyone has entered their question, answered and asked their questions, the first person pulls one card from each deck, and the round begins. Okay. Here's where my cool, fun things show up. Okay. So that's me. I'll go. So boop, 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 and boop.
Thanks for letting us know. We can't always monitor what sort of technical stuff is happening.
Yes, thank you so much.
So, if anything else occurs, please do inform us. So what cards did you draw?
Well, you'll find out in a second. And there's that one.
Sorry about any chewing sounds you might be picking up. I rewarded myself for completing various tasks today with French macaroons. The motivation center of my brain is like a small child that you have to bribe with candy in order to get them to do things.
Relatable. Alright. So my cards, going from left and right as it is on the stream. So it starts with the U. U. I did it again. Alright. Well,
Same joke.
Same joke that the people in the stream didn't hear, but you heard. All right. One day, visitors arrive. Who are they? Make sure I put the right one. Yes, it did. Okay. Who are they? What do you do? Okay.
That's not what I'm seeing on this screen.
Oh, it's not? Shucks.
Nope.
What is it? What is on the screen?
Did you tell anyone where you were going, why or why not?
Hachimachi. Aha. The game has betrayed me. Aha, found it. Okay. I'll just do that for now. Okay. Okay. Technical difficulties. I was trying to do something cool so it showed up on the screen, but you know, these things happen. All right. One day visitors arrive. Who are they? What do you do? Oh, man.
Yay.
Okay. So I think when we haven't really established sort of how day-to-day life works, but I have a feeling that Danny is kind of one to at least it's early in the process that we've bought this house and we've started living together. Danny's probably still outside mending some fences, and it's foggy out. It's early morning still. Danny's definitely not someone you would call a morning person, but since she's moved here, she's been trying her best to get up in the mornings, get up early, which is difficult. I should know from experience. And so it's hard to make out this person approaching down the dirt path that brings people and us down to this little house that we've made. And Danny is an egregious or gregarious person, some might say, and she will eagerly greet them and ask how they're doing, and they finally got close enough that you can see what they look like, and it's okay. It's actually one of Danny's one of Danny's family, or her cousin, perhaps, probably the cousin that she dislikes the least, or likes the most, I should say. The one that she could one that she could tolerate and maybe possibly even like spending time with at family gatherings. And um, she welcomes them in, uh, sits them down to have a cup of tea with you, Sage, and just to talk. And it seems that like they wanted to come for a to they admit to me that they were sent here by their family, by Danny's family, to try and convince her to come back. But seeing the place and seeing the work that we were doing, they changed their mind about that, and so was going to say, "Oh, it's okay. I'm gonna go back to them, and I'm gonna tell them you told me off or something like that," and said no. And yeah, it was a surprisingly pleasant experience with a family member, which is rare for Danny.
Aw.
Okay. And the next one is home. So describe an area in your home used for recreation. What do you do there? Sorry, I'm actually trying to find the card. Okay, found it. There we go. I think, and this is something that me, Avery, would 100% love to have, but because I'm projecting onto Danny, she would also love to have it, is a very dedicated room for gaming, for board games and tabletop games and just everything of that
With
sort.
like the nice big table and the
Hell
comfy
yeah.
chairs
The
and
comfy chairs that has a table that has has a screen in the middle that you can like project like battle maps onto, which is something I've dreamed of my entire freaking life. Not really, but for a very long time I've dreamt of that. It's very rustic, as pretty much everything in this house is, or at least how Danny would like it to be. So yeah, and what we do there, we play games. We play all kinds of games. I'm trying to think of more different games other than the game that we're playing. But yeah,
Betrayal.
Betrayal. Haha. Yes, we play Betrayal. Yes. Ugh, so good.
We should figure out how to play that on stream sometime.
That would be fantastic. Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to find the next card to use. Gotcha. Cool. Out late one night, you discover a place perfect for stargazing. Describe the location and talk about how you first found it. How are the stars different here? It's a small clearing, just maybe 5 minutes or so. 5 minutes or so walk out from our house. There's a small little stream that runs through. The stars. First off, the first thing, at least that Danny notices, is how more easily you can see the stars from out here compared to the city where it's the light pollution is just off the charts. There's definitely more detail, more crispness in the stars that you can see beyond just the few points of light that you can make out back home in the city. On really, really clear nights, you can maybe even see bits of the Milky Way. And you can easily see with your plain eye the like Jupiter, Mars, Venus, just those little points of light that don't twinkle as they float about the sky. And the last one. Gotcha. Whoop, bam. Awesome. You find a circle of stones in a sunlit place. There are time-worn etchings on some. Describe what you see and talk with others about its purpose. Okay. Definitely, maybe one day we're in the first few days of us being in this area, we kind of scope out the area and search through it for any like dangerous things, anything, just to get a lay of the land, kind of a deal. And we come upon these circle of stones, and it's another clearing. I'm curious, what would Sage think about these?
Sage is not super like plugged in to history, or Fleur has always been kind of this sort of person who lives like who's very modern and current. So Sage doesn't know very much about these or what they could be for, but is kind of having that like the baby archaeologist moment of, oh my god, people lived in the past and did stuff and we can still interact with that stuff to this day. Oh my god. Which as someone who majored in archaeology, I had that moment several times.
Yeah. Danny is very intrigued by all this, and she's like taking pictures, obviously, and just overall pretty curious. I think she would definitely have a similar moment that Sage does. And what was that?
Putting the pictures on fantasy Instagram.
Fantasy Instagram, yeah. And trying to figure out what could it be, because I don't think she's Danny isn't exactly big on history either. So, but yeah, definitely, it's definitely a moment of like, oh, there are things here that we didn't know about, and there are things here that have been here for a long time and people haven't seen it. So it's quite powerful for her. As far as its purpose, she's not really sure, and I'm not sure she'll ever really be sure. I'm not super knowledgeable.
Probably need some scholars for that.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't you go next? Those are all my cards, so.
Me. My turn.
It's you.
Can you see what I am flipping over?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so start with the U card. What has this place taken from you that you will never regain?
Woof.
Oof.
Oofa doofa.
Woof. um, I think Sage, who has always been, despite being a half druid, has always been very much a modern, like city person, a city folk, who doesn't think very much about nature or and has never really like focused on anything except floor work and investigative journalism. Coming out here into a place where nature is so abundant is this like kind of Sage was forced to shake off a lot of like blissful ignorance about nature, about production lines, like means of how the goods that Sage had in the city got to Floor and how like the convenience of that balanced against the difficulty of actually creating these things. The effort that goes into it and like the importance of the land and all of that, like that nice blissful disconnected, like, oh, there's always going to be fresh fruit at the supermarket kind of feel, it kind of like existence has gone away. And now even if Sage moves back into the city, Fleur is always going to be thinking about like, so where did this fruit come from? How was it grown? Who grew it? How labor intensive was that? Etc. etc. Sage has changed classes into environmental activist. All right. Next card. Your home. What produce do you grow around your home and how do you cultivate them? I think the first thing Sage tried to grow was probably a fruit tree and then realized how long that was actually going to take. Like, you can't just plant a seed and have a tree that gives you fruit in a couple of months.
That is, yep.
So Sage has given up on that for now, and I don't know, grows a lot of like, let me rack my brain for a lot of stuff that is like technically simple to grow and also like good to eat, but also like pretty to look at.
Okay.
I'm thinking my grandma grows green onions, scallions.
Okay.
And they bloom and they have these really pretty little purple flowers when they're blooming. She also grows potatoes.
Can't go
potatoes
wrong with potatoes.
Also flower.
Yeah, I know.
Onions also flower. like just a lot of like little flowering like staple foods, but Sage makes sure to like pay attention to their flowers as well because Fleur likes like pretty stuff.
Makes sense.
And also lavender.
Of course.
A lot of lavender.
Lots of lavender.
Sage gets really good at making like lavender flavored things.
Ooh.
And I hope Danny likes it because that's going to be like the majority of like the tea they drink and the desserts they eat.
Ooh, that's quite good.
And herbs.
Lots of herbs.
The little herb garden. Little herb garden.
Herbs.
Some diviner's sage. Which is hallucinogenic.
Oh no, where'd you get your hands on that?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding about that part. I just wanted to see how you'd react. Sage
No.
doesn't actually grow that. Anyway,
What's your
I
third
think
one?
Sage has taken to gardening quite well.
That's good.
All right, the third card. The land. You have a close call in a particularly dangerous locale. What makes this place so perilous and what happened to you?
Ooh.
I think Sage was just like out walking one day and basically like wasn't really paying attention to where Fleur was going and almost fell down a ravine.
Oh gosh.
You know, when you're in the woods, like unless you're paying close attention, sometimes you can just like step right over the edge and not even know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Sage managed to like grab onto a tree trunk and prevent Fleurself from like falling into the ravine, but it was a really close call, and for like a minute or two, Sage just like hung there clinging to this tree trunk and going, oh god, oh god, oh god.
Was Danny there or no? Were you just by yourself?
I think Sage was just by Fleurself, like just out for a little stroll on Fleur own, something Fleur was used to from the city, but unfortunately Sage's like danger radar has been very finely tuned to the city. Like Fleur could cross a busy street of traffic without having to really pay attention. Not really used to watching out for the various dangers of like the woods. And after that, Sage memorized where that ravine was and like has not gone anywhere near it since. Just
Amazing.
We're not messing with that again.
No. I'm just gonna pretend that never happened.
And then also told Danny about it and was like, Danny, you'll never believe what just happened to me. Did you know that there's like out in nature there's like cliffs?
There's just holes in the ground. Yeah, I know there's holes in the ground.
Giant like holes carved into the ground, and they're like filled with trees, so it can be difficult to tell them from the other trees, and I almost died.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Then you would not let you let Flare down. You would not let Flare live it down for a while, I think.
20 years later, Danny's like, remember that time you almost fell down the ravine?
You fell down a hole like
And
an
you didn't
idiot.
know what a ravine was and you didn't know what a ravine was called? And Sage is just like, I deleted that from my memory years ago.
And I'll delete it from yours too. Come here.
Cast hypnotizing pattern.
No.
Or
God.
whatever it is.
No, that's the spell. Hypnotic pattern. There it is. Ugh. Ugh.
Hypnotic pattern.
Wrong game.
When I
Continue.
play Sage in D&D, that is like the only spell I need. Anyway, the past. You discover a mysterious image etched upon a stone. Describe the scene it depicts and tell the others how old you think it might be. Okay, so once again, Sage is like dumb when it comes to history. But I think even Sage would like recognize this. I think it depicts a comet.
Ooh.
That pass through the sky. There's like little images of people looking up and just this big streak of the comet and its tail going above them. And if Sage had to guess, Fleur would guess like it's reminiscent of some things Fleur has seen in like the city's art museum, which is about the only history that Sage knows, aside from political history. And investigative journalist. And so Sage thinks it might be like 500-ish years old. Maybe the stone was like, maybe the drawing was made immediately after the comet or after like someone was told about the comet. Sage isn't really sure what it's doing all the way out here though.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because there's not really any signs of like if there had been like a building around it. There's nothing left of it now. Just this big rock. The drawing of a comet.
Just a big old rock. It's not a boulder. It's a rock.
It's a rock.
Okay. Is that the last one?
Yes.
Cool. After everyone in the table has completed their turn, going in your turn order, blah, ask any one of the following questions of any other player. Each player should ask and answer only one question. Okay. So, Sage.
Yes.
What can I do to help you?
No, Danny, what can you do to help me? I would just love it if you could help me not fall down any more holes.
I guess I could do that.
But what I really miss is knowing what's going on in the city. So if your cousin ever visits again, or if you're still in touch with any of your family or whatever, just
Yeah.
I miss hearing about the city. Going a little uh going a little batshit. Oh, just wondering about what's happening out there. So
Okay.
if you have any avenues of gathering news, I can't go back to the city or I'll be immediately arrested.
You still got to tell me about that.
Um,
Maybe one day.
just say the highest award in the field of journalism is a wanted poster.
Baby's
We'll
first
leave it at
wanted
that.
poster.
Definitely not my first wanted poster.
No, definitely not.
Hopefully the last.
We know that's not the case. All right, you ask me a question now.
How has your time here so far changed you, Danny?
Oh man, I mean, waking up every day at freaking butt crack of dawn is not something I would have done before. That's for sure. Um, I guess this is making me a lot more responsible for all the things I gotta do. You know, tending for the animals, fixing the fences, doing
Have
the
animals?
dishes. I don't know. Do we have animals?
Do we have animals?
I don't know.
A cow.
A
We have a
cow.
couple of goats.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, that's about it. Doing the dishes, doing the laundry. Not things I would have done before then. That's for sure.
I think you're doing a great job, Danny.
I'm trying my best, that's for sure. Alright. 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 Pull a card again.
Pull a card. Any card.
Herapa. Oh my gosh.
Up.
Alright, hang on, let me find it. The card is Who did you leave behind? Why them?
Oof.
Oofa doofa indeed. Alright.
Heavy hitting.
I mean, the people I left behind clearly were my family, but you know, I wanted to leave them behind. If you're asking who I didn't want to leave behind, I guess my best friend. I really didn't want to leave her behind, but she said that it was okay, but I could tell it wasn't. But I don't know. I don't know if her name was Anna, and she was, you know, my roommate, really, my best friend, my roommate, and we lived together for a while now, and things with my family came to a head, and I just knew they wouldn't leave me alone unless I got the hell out of Dodge. And she was wanting to come with me, but I didn't want her to abandon all the things that she worked for, let alone have to deal with me here in the middle of nowhere. So
Maybe you should have let her make that choice for herself.
all right, Sage, I don't need to hear it from you.
Listen.
Who knows? It's over now. It happened. I don't know what else I can do.
Well, she can always visit.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
And tell me things about the city.
this card is blank.
What? What? Click on it.
See, it's blank.
That's not.
Oh, what does it say? Because I can't see it.
It says, did you build the home or was it already here when you arrived?
Oh, wow. Okay. Now I'm trying to find it on here.
Website we're using for these cards is not fantastic.
But it gets the job done.
It does. As long as at least one of us can see what's happening.
Oh my gosh, where is it?
At least one, but preferably both.
I was looking at the wrong one. What was it again?
Did you build the home or was it already here when you arrived? Did we steal someone's house?
I could have been abandoned.
Squatter rights?
Squatter rights. Ah, got it. Got it. All right. Maybe it was like one of those places that was just like had an ad out for like a home. Like we. Though it would be fun. No, you know what? No. Maybe it was a home that was abandoned and it was built here when we arrived. But we didn't like come in and do squatters' rights on it. I think we like someone like had the deed to the house and like sold it to us because they weren't doing anything with it, or whoever lived there had died or something, or just abandoned the house. And so yeah, I think in looking for ways to get out of the city, Danny was like came up to ye old fantasy real estate agency place. I was trying to think of like an actual real estate agency, and I could not think for my life think of anything. So, but yeah, she sees it's for dirt cheap, so she picks it because that's all she can really afford. And the real estate agent was just like, yeah, you gotta have at least one other person with you. And like maybe just by chance, Sage was just walking by and like also looking for something maybe. And so yeah. Uh-oh. Sorry, 1 second. Well, there we go. We're having some technical difficulties. My bad. We'll see if things pop back up in just a second. Okay. So what happens when you have Spotty Wi-Fi. Hello.
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 Hello. Look who joined me.
It's him.
It's him. My cuddle bug. Did your internet drop again?
I think so.
Oof.
Try something.
All by myself.
Hey, okay.
Hey.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Switch us back.
We're
Okay. Hey, we're back. Hey,
back.
sorry about
We
that.
did it.
Internet decides to literally poop the bed, which is not fun. But we're back.
We're back. And so is he.
So is Oliver. He's back. Star of the show. MVP. VIP.
Good lad.
Very good, sir. Anyway, let's jump right back in.
Jump right back in.
Don't remember the last thing we talked about.
What
was the last thing you heard before you dropped? Yeah.
You were about to explain, did you build the home or was it already here when you arrived?
Okay.
And then we joked about whether or not we had squatters' rights.
Right. Okay. What I was saying was that it was a kind of situation where the person who had lived there either passed or had like left, had like straight up like given up the deed to someone else, and they were trying to sell it for cheap because it's a really run down place. And so Danny had stumbled upon like the place that was selling it, but needed someone to work needed someone else to be a part of it, so she somehow came upon Sage, and the two kind of signed up for it. So yes, it was already here when we arrived.
She put out a classified asking for someone who would be willing to leave city life behind and go live out in the middle of nowhere.
Makes sense.
Sage was like, as long as you don't ask any questions.
Okay. My next one is for the land. Is there is a place near your home that fills you with joy? Why? And I will ruminate on that while I try and find it so I can put it up on stream.
Stream can look at my lad.
Hey. No.
He's a little master at hiding.
Oh, where did he hide?
Yeah. I literally thought that he had escaped from my apartment because I couldn't find him.
Oh no.
He was wedged in between the back of the couch and the wall at such an angle that when I looked under the couch, I could not see him.
Oh, baby boy. He's a sneaky little boy. Okay. There's a place. What?
For being about 17 pounds of cat, he sure can hide.
He sure can hide. It's the fact that he's a black cat, so he's hard to see.
Yeah. Wait. He left.
Oh, poor boy. He does not want to have fun anymore. Okay. There is a place near your home that fills you with joy. Why? Oh boy. Okay. There's a little area with a couple of outcroppings of rocks and a really, really big old tree that sort of reminds Danny of one of the parks in the city that she used to live in. She actually grew up in the city, and so that was one of her favorite places to go back when things were good with her family. And so that is one of her favorite places to go. When it's really nice out, she'll stop by there and read whenever she has the chance, and all that stuff.
Aw. I'm just thinking about how wild the first couple days must have been with these two city folk out in the middle of nowhere.
Absolutely. Oh man.
Like, oh my god, what is that? A bug?
Gross.
Oh my god, they get that big? Gross. What are those sounds? Crickets? Ugh. Sorry about shaky cam.
Alright, come on. Card.
Baby boy.
Alright. You find what remains of a wondrous feat of engineering. What is it? Does it still work? Okay. Ooh, what is it?
Two people who don't know very much about engineering.
I think at one point, searching throughout the estate, quote unquote, or like the within the land of our home, Denny is like digging up stuff to put out a plot of farmland, and digs up a small digs up this mechanism. It seems to be some kind of like steering mechanism. And the more she digs around, the more parts she finds. And so she ends up coming up with this full, some kind of cart of some kind. Um, but there's nothing to like hook up onto a horse or something, which is interesting. She's not super
So a
sure about it.
car.
Stop.
A car.
A car. Oh, but she doesn't know that. So it doesn't work anymore, but it's definitely an interesting find that she might bring into for someone to look at some point. Maybe. She found a car. That's a wondrous feat of engineering, isn't it? Okay. Your turn. Oh no. Oh no. This is what happens when you have bad internet. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey. Oh,
Oh.
hello. It's not going.
Well,
Haha. Okay. Before we switch back, because I just put us on like a like be right back screen. So, do you want to do your cards and then that last section, and then just move on to an epilogue, and then go on from there, like finish off from there, or do you want to keep going?
we can end, because I foresee more technical difficulties in our future.
Yeah, that's sort of why I'm thinking this.
Yeah.
So if that's okay with you,
It's fine.
okay. And we can always play this again too,
Yes.
like we say about other games. So, but yeah, we can definitely play this again. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Okay. Ah, okay, we're back. Hey, vey.
We are plagued by digital demons.
Yep, the internet gods have looked upon me and said, "No," and that's about it. That's the long and short of it, pretty much.
The long and the short of it.
Yep. All right. Well, where we left off, it was Vico's turn to draw some cards and to tell a story.
All right, I'm ready. My U card.
You.
Of the things you left behind, what will you miss most and why? I guess I kind of already answered that for Sage. But Fleur was an investigative journalist and was always very plugged into everything that was happening in the city. Like, knew everyone, knew every place, knew just, like, always one finger on the pulse of what was happening. And it was a lot at times, but it was kind of how Fleur had always lived Fleur life. And out in the middle of nowhere, there's not any of that. Sage, there's one other person, Danny, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sage kind of like keeps track of like the interpersonal drama going on with the goats and like the local songbirds or whatever, because like Fleur can't like leave it behind entirely.
That's
So
amazing.
some evenings at dinner, Sage regales Danny with like the stories of betrayal and heartbreak and whatever that are going on with the local like songbirds that nest in the trees around their house.
That's amazing. I thoroughly love that.
Home card. When the weather is good, you decide to add a new room onto your home. Describe the room's purpose and the process of building it. Small place. There's like, I guess they have a kitchen, their bedrooms, a bathroom, and the game room, and that's like kind of what they have. I think. I'm thinking. Sage adds a greenhouse.
Ooh, okay.
And it takes forever.
Yeah, getting on that glass.
Yeah. Like the glass has to be shipped in. A lot of the times the shipments get like lost and they're like, we have no idea where you are or how to get there. And Sage like has to go has to use a fake name to order it. all.
You could ask Danny to do it.
Yeah, Sage gets Danny to like order it all in her name. And it's just a long process, and there's also a lot of mishaps because Sage insists on building it for herself.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
How many times do you all break? Do you break a pane of glass and just go, huh? Well, shit.
so many times. It happens so many times. But eventually it's up, and then Sage is like, "Ah, shit. Now I have to put stuff in it, huh?"
Yep. What's the
Um,
first thing you grow in there?
the first thing Sage grows is probably Fleur Mother's favorite flowers.
Oh.
Which are a type of climbing jasmine.
Ooh. That sounds fun.
And then they die
Oh.
during the winter because Sage didn't insulate the place properly. So come spring, Sage like fixes all the insulation and grows a new bunch. Grows like a new vine.
Awesome.
And just the entire time is just going, Danny, this is going to be great. We're going to have like fresh vegetables in the winter. It's going to be great. And Danny's like going, are you sure you know what you're doing?
You sure?
Have you ever done this before? Sage is like,
no.
No, but trust me. And then she probably laughs at Fleur like during that winter when the insulation doesn't work.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's pretty annoying, yeah. But yeah, she does.
Yeah. The land. You come across a creature in the wilds that you have never seen before. Describe the encounter, and do you tell the others about it? We're just gonna go full on fantasy here.
Mm-hmm.
It's some sort of like fox, but with horns.
Ooh, okay.
And it's like faintly glowing. It's like late at night, Sage has just like stepped away from the house just to go look at the stars somewhere darker, and is just hanging out, strumming Fleur lute. Like, just having a bit of a like quiet moment to Fleur self, and this light like hits the corner of Fleur eye, and Sage turns thinking it's gonna be Danny with like a flashlight coming over to join Fleur, and it just comes face to face with this like big glowing horned fox with like a marking on the center of its forehead and these really old wise eyes, and they just stare at each other for like a solid 2 minutes. And then the fox just like quietly nods and turns and walks and disappears into the darkness, and Sage is like, and like does not tell Danny about it. It's just like that was a hallucination. That was a product of a tired mind late at night in the dark. It didn't happen, and I am putting it out of my memory. But then like thinks about it constantly, writes songs about it, and is constantly at night like Danny maybe starts to get worried because Sage just keeps wandering off at night.
Oh my gosh. She starts to think
you're like for this fox.
She starts to think you're like meeting someone out in the woods, like doing some illicit shit. And so she's just like
Sage is just like, oh god, I wish that I'm looking for this. I'm trying to figure out if I had a hallucination or if I really had an encounter with some like weird magic fox spirit.
Then you're like, what? Huh?
Yeah, like a couple of years later, Sage is saying this, and it's like, yeah, so I never told you, but like the first year that we were here,
Amazing.
but I think I was a little tipsy at the time, so
Had a little bit too much of the, wild. Okay.
was it real? Was it fake? I'm not telling. Ooh, the past. You find the bones of a creature, massive and ancient. Describe how you make this discovery. Do you know what it once was, and do these creatures still exist? Hmm. I think, first of all, it happens one night while Sage is out looking for the weird fox spirit
Okay.
and sees like a glimpse of light and decides to follow it. Again, a little tipsy,
Oh, okay.
so not having the best decision making skills at that moment, and just like it keeps being just a little bit out of reach and until Sage comes into this area and at first thinks that it's like the roots of the trees, and then gets closer with Fleur flashlight and realizes that they're like these unimaginably large ribs
Ugh.
that are like sticking up out of the ground, like the creature is on its side and one half of the rib cage is just coming out of the ground, and Sage follows it and finds like the neck, the spinal column, and the skull embedded in the ground. And it's huge. It's
What does the skull look like?
like it looks like a cross between a lizard skull and a wolf skull.
Ooh, okay.
And it's like about as long as Sage is tall.
Wow. Is it bipedal, quadrupedal? Can you tell?
It's quadrupedal.
Okay.
And it's like a creature that Sage has heard myths about, long like bedtime stories about, but it's like, oh, everyone knows those aren't real, right? They're not real, right? And Sage is once again just having this moment of like, oh my god,
Oh god. Oh god. Oh
and
no.
catches the fox spirit peering out from between the trees and is like, I can't deal with this tonight.
Not again.
And it's just like Sage is pretty sure that that if they were real, they're not around anymore.
Yeah, Sage hopes
Creatures
so.
that large can't. Sage hopes so.
We all hope so.
And considers calling like a paleontologist or something, and then decides like, you know what? No.
You know
No.
what? Oh,
The
alright.
one time that Sage decides to like to get a paleontologist out there, before Fleur calls them, just goes back in the daytime to try and find the site and find some like an area that kind of looks like it, but the bones are gone.
It was never dead
Or,
to
like-
begin with.
And Sage is just kind of like, okay,
Just gonna
Never
pretend that
mind.
never happened.
just gonna we're just gonna stick that one in a box and close the box and bury the box and not think about this ever again.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight,
Lock it
out
up
of
in the
mind.
key. Just yeet it into the river. Oh man. I
Then of course
just
Sage like finds it again a couple of years later, but only long after Sage has given up on like the idea of getting someone else out here to like investigate it.
Mhm.
It's just kind of like, okay.
I'm loving this subtle cosmic horror that we're dealing with in this. It's like, oh, it's a cute game about like finding about raising a little homestead, and you're like, oh yeah, bones.
No, the fox spirit trusts them now.
Okay.
But as soon as Sage is gonna like betray that trust, the fox is like, "Oh, then how about I gaslight you,
I'll,
bitch?"
I'll stick the bones on you. Here, have some bones.
Here, have some bones. Now the bones are gone. What do you
Where
think
are
about that?
they?
Now they're back again. What do you
Oh,
think about
bones!
that? Ooh,
Bones. Oh man. Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about the bones?
bones.
Bones.
Sage ends up spending a lot of time out, like, by the bones.
Out by the bones.
Out by the bones.
Okay. So we need to each ask each other one question.
Yes.
Okay. I guess Alice question. Sage, do you want to leave this place?
Yes, and sometimes no. There are things I miss about the city, but I don't know. I'm discovering that city isn't like the long and short of my personality, and there are things out here that I want to investigate too. But it does get kind of like, no offense, it gets kind of lonely.
None taken.
I guess if I could like migrate, like go into the city during the winter and come back out here during the summer, that would be good. But uh I'll give it another couple of years for the fuss to die down.
That big of a fuss, huh?
Pretty big fuss. Pretty big fuss. Well, Danny, how about you? Do you ever want to leave?
Oh, jeez. I mean, before I got here, before I came out here, it was mostly just, things were kind of boring, I guess, routine. But out here, like, there's still a routine out here, but it's sort of, I don't know, more refreshing.
Fulfilling.
Yeah, more fulfilling, really. And there's so many new things out there in the woods and and in the ground that we've
Like the
discovered,
bones.
like the bones. And I have something that we've made and built and called our own. I don't think I do want to leave this place. I really like it here.
Good.
And I
Mm,
think we're
now,
good to move on to the epilogue if you want to do that.
yes.
Okay. So,
Compose your epilogue, discuss your findings, weave the tale of the past, and describe the end of your character's tale.
okay. So, what did we find in the past? We found the bones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we found the car.
The,
uh,
the magic car
the car. The circle of stones.
and the stone with the picture of the comet drawn on it.
Stone etching of comet. Okay. Well, clearly there was some ancient civilization that existed with technology advanced enough to have horseless carriages. um, who carved their stories into stone hinges of stone, and oh, okay. How about this? They lived amongst these large reptilian-like creatures until a comet came.
Well, the comet came.
And that's when things went south real quick.
So, was it a meteor, or did the comet just pass overhead and like mess up the energies?
um, I mean, it could have skimmed the Earth's atmosphere and put in enough debris to like maybe bring to like cause at least a mass extinction event of some kind.
By big wolf lizard things.
Yeah, bye. And then I guess they had to have been magic if their bones survived this long. Who knows? Or maybe it was just that fox messing with us. Um, our other findings, yeah.
Fox.jpg.
Our other discuss our findings. So our findings were the fox, the magic fox, all the things that we found out about the past. We built a game room and a greenhouse in our house. We grew lots of flowery vegetables and
We did.
lavender. Very nice. And describe the end of our characters' tales. So, why don't we answer the following questions?
Okay.
Do you live out your lives here or eventually leave? I think Danny stays. I feel like Danny stays.
Sage becomes sort of nomadic, like moving back and forth between various cities and the homestead that they've built together.
Okay.
Until Sage gets really old and is just like, man, fuck traveling.
So where did Fleur stay at that point? At the homestead?
Probably at the homestead with Danny.
Okay. All right. So what becomes of your home over the next few generations?
I want to say Sage picked up a couple of like street urchin rapscallions, and considers passing the deed down to one of them, but decides to get Danny's opinion on it first.
Yeah, I would definitely think there are a few. It takes a lot of building up courage, but I think Danny, while she is living full time at the homestead, she does probably travel back to the city with Sage at certain points, and maybe that's where she meets her partner and ends up having a few kids of her own. So I think she would probably want to pass it on to her kids, but also she also would probably want to have would want Sage to do to because we co-own it essentially. So maybe get
A couple of Sage's, I think some of Sage's kids don't like see themselves as Floor's kids, but more like, oh, this is the weird person who picked me up off the street, taught me some weird skills, and sometimes pops back into my life. And then there are like two that have become regulars at the homestead, and those are the two who stay with Danny's kids and carry on
yeah.
the homestead.
I definitely think maybe Danny only has 2 kids, I would say, and one of them does leave and go off and to do other better, greater things, and so the other one does stay behind. So maybe it's these 3 that run the place after Danny and Sage move on. They join the great fox spirit in the join the great fox spirit in the sky. They become one of the bones.
Bones.
A new etching appears on the Stonehenge of their story. Oh man. So, what changes occur in the land over the next several generations? I think definitely the house expands in order to fit the more people who live there. And the farmland and the amount of animals that were raised there probably grows as well. Which means having to knock over a couple more trees and all that. And maybe there's
the city probably expands and gets like the suburbs start to grow a little bit closer towards the forest. Not like spitting distance, but closer than they were before.
Yeah, dangerously close now. Yeah, and it maybe at some point one of the stone circle, one of the stones in that circle collapses, and some of the etchings that were carved into it are kind of lost, which is sucks, but that's what happens over time. Maybe a couple of kids from the suburbs find their way out there and they start vandalizing stuff, and like Danny's kids or whoever lives at the homestead at this point have to chase them off.
And it's like, the forest folk. They'll chase you with brooms.
And there's a fox there too. No one knows what his deal is. Okay. What things of yours are left behind long after you and your home are a thing of the past?
Sage left behind some folk songs.
Oh.
Like having wrote some about the fox and some about the bones and just the mysteries of the forest in general, but also just a couple that were like very sweet songs about Fleur family and Danny's family and the kids and living on the homestead that just like as Sage traveled around would perform them, and they slowly filtered into like the public book of pub songs and whatever.
Aw. That's really, I really love that. The only thing I can think of for
Danny, a song about.
What was that?
Wrote a song about Danny and her partner meeting, and it embarrassed both of them, and Sage would play it like all the time just to embarrass them.
Like they have guests over and just Sage just walks out, starts singing it, and like Danny and her partner just like chase Fleur around.
And it eventually becomes one of those like great old love songs.
Oh, and
that and Danny's grandkids are like, remember how Grandma used to hate when Sage would sing that.
Oh. The only thing I can think of for Danny, like what she left behind, where I think after several years of constantly having to fix those fences, those wooden fences, she got goddamn tired of it and just made full on stone fences, just lined all throughout the thing. So like years and hundreds of years later, there's still just like a line of stones just cutting through wherever. And it's just this like last little evidence of a home that used to be here. Yeah, and maybe a couple like the foundation of the house and like improvements to the house that Danny worked on are like still there because she did such a good job of it because she's strong. I don't know. Yeah, and with that, you've reached the end of your tale. Yay, we've accomplished it. We did it.
This was a lovely game, and I'd love to play it more, maybe with a bigger group next time.
Yes. That would be really great. No,
There's a lot of room for storytelling in this.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's a storytelling game.
This role-playing game has a lot of opportunities for role-playing. It's interesting.
There's guidelines, but it's not too stringent. You can just go and do whatever you want within the framework.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's really
one thing fun. I love about tabletop RPGs is the collaborative storytelling element to it, which is how when I first introduced my mom to D&D, I explained it as a game where you tell a story together.
Yep, that's what it is.
That is what it is at its heart. So it's a lovely game. Who wrote it? Let me find it.
Jessica Osborne.
Jessica Osborne.
Thank you so much.
You did a good job.
You done did it.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching, all you friends at home. Hope you had as much fun as we did, despite the 2 instances of technical difficulties. But that's just what happens when you have poopy Wi-Fi. So.
Yep.
But yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow when I continue playing Control. And on Wednesday, I'm thinking of playing Among Us with Rico and some other friends too. That's gonna be a ton of fun because we'll see. And then next week, next Saturday, we decided on our one for next Saturday, right? It was gonna be the Duet of Steel, right?
Yes.
Right.
A game about being foes.
Yes, it's gonna be so much fun. I get to be mean to Vico. Which I don't need. I don't
already are.
Don't ever need an excuse to do that.
To be mean back.
Yes. Oh, that's gonna be so much fun. All right, so yeah. What's
on
up?
Monday over on my channel, Small Vico, SMOLVICO, I will be streaming some more art. I'm working on some redesigns of some characters for one of my friends. So come join me, chat, watch me draw, hate what I drew, erase it, and start over.
Yeah. I mean, I really love the designs that you did so far, because the original ones were quite rotund in the chest area.
Yeah, my friend said that one of his friends chose the concept art for them, which I can believe because he's not the sort of person to like go, this looks like a good drawing for this character. And he asked me to make them have normal human proportions and clothes that were reasonable.
Who needs it? We want real big honka-dooka bonkos, whatever.
Honka bonka donk.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you next time.
We
Bye.
will see you later.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.